Okay, sorry. I didn't know it was recording live. Oh my god. Hi. Hi, sorry about that. Hi. Didn't think we were gonna start this real early. Wow. I was just trying to get a beat down or something and stay warm during this nice Florida cold weather. And it's not Christmas anymore, but you know, when you play a beat, you get sidetracked. My name is Nicholas, also known as NikoTheLegend. I'm here to give you another interesting thing to do with comments, reading your comments from videos. So we just did one like last week, and I got to hear some interesting things of what you guys had to say about that video. So it's like a response to response to response. It's pretty cool. A response to response. Yeah. I guess I got it right. So we're gonna do the same thing with this video. Just a rundown of what's going on. I'm gonna look at the video that had kind of like an army of comments, maybe a little bit of group of them, just enough to kind of just be like, okay, we can respond to this, or I can respond to this, and kind of give you a background of what you guys are saying to what I was saying. So it's kind of like I said, response to response. If you haven't checked out the other one, the Mass Effect Read Your Comments video, please do. If you're a BioWare fan or Mass Effect fan, it's pretty interesting for the stuff I replied to your comments. And yeah, we go down the list and read not everybody's comments, but just enough to kind of get an idea of what people are saying. And it's just fun to do, and obviously it's a cool way to support you guys. You know, I like reading what you guys say, and you get to be put on the spot. Will I say bad or mean things? But disclaimer, I'm not here to bash on your comments. Now guys, if you're reading these comments and you're thinking these people are dumb, don't think they're dumb. Don't think anybody with an opinion is dumb. Unless it's like, I'm going to go kill you all, blow up the president's White House, just fuck everything, you know. Other than that stuff, if it's someone's opinion about the game, just let it be. Because your opinion might not be valid either, or theirs is more this and that, and yours is this and that. Just play nice right now. Let the world burn too. And I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's get started. So we're doing the video, I should have said this in the beginning, Dragon Age 4, the same protagonist, question mark, question mark, question mark. That is the true title. Somebody on the last video for Mass Effect comments was completely quoting me, but he wasn't, because he didn't get the context of the message or anything and just kept bashing me. So I kind of put him in his place indirectly. Talking to a screen. Anyway, so let's get started. Alright, so this video has 71 comments. This probably has the most comments I've had for a video, which is pretty great. Pretty awesome. So thanks guys, thanks a lot. So, this one was 2 days ago by Tina Swafford. Now, if I get any of your names wrong, I am completely sorry. But please, I do respect, and please understand. So, I'll already start off with the bang. These comments, I love the big ones. Am I trying to catch my breath from playing the drums? Okay, so let's start. Tina says, personally, I was not crazy about the Inquisitor. So much potential, but lacked the feeling of real characters that Origin had, i.e., I can still today look at the situation and hear Alistair, Morgan, Liliana, etc. in my head with their reaction. Thank you, BioWare, for giving the Inquisitor closure. I appreciated that. No need to continue that protagonist. Hawk was not my favorite by any stretch either. For the same reason, and I was aggravated and disappointed that BioWare chose to bring Hawk back and not the Warden, whom I feel so personally a part of and do want to return in a real way. And if the ultimate sacrifice happened, no worries, BioWare. This, and she has a link. If you want to click that, I guess I'll click it right now. It's an XML file, does not appear to have any style information associated with it, so it doesn't even work. Okay, sorry Tina. The hero Ferelden needs some love from BioWare, by the way, of closure with all the relationships and the cure, and the enemies like the Architect, who seem to have survived in plots with idiots among the Grey Wardens and Griffins, for crying out loud. Okay. Now, I don't want to say any of these comments are biased, but obviously we grow to appreciate a story that touched us the most in whatever time or period of time in our life that we were going through. I played Dragon Age Origins. Oh, jeez, it came out in 2009? Yeah, 2009, so I was, let's see, I'm 28 now, so about 12 years ago. So, I was like, yeah, still in my teens, still in my teens, learning about whatever that the school's teaching me, and I think I just started to want to be a psychologist, go to university, get a bachelor's, and I wasn't really too much into philosophy at that time or anything really important that needs to that betters you as a person. Philosophy will do that. Facts. So, but when I was playing Dragon Age Origins, it was one of the probably the biggest games I've ever played, because there was a lot of interesting things that go on, like contextual stuff, decision making and pressure and anxiety and claustrophobia and entertainment. I feel like, I know that Dragon Age Origins did that for a lot of us, and it was definitely the best version of a dark fantasy novel come to life. It was really good, really dark stuff. It had all the essentials of a dark fantasy story. It was even darker than Lord of the Rings, to be honest. We see it in movies, so it's different. It's a little more Hollywood magic to it. They didn't show all the disgusting stuff that happened in the books, like the Shire being jacked up at the end of the Return of the King in the book, but then in the movie it's not. It's all PG. So this is why some games are good like that to do, and this game did it. It really did it. And the reason why we felt so a part of the hero Ferelden, because he was a guy that we were able to make, create, give a voice to, because he was a voiceless person, just like Knights of the Old Republic. And we had multiple options of choosing what we wanted to say, which allowed us to have a better chance of something we would say and something we wouldn't say. There was more of a process of elimination needed to be established. And then we're able to pick our race: dwarf, human, Humes for Final Fantasy XI fans. Probably not the same thing, man, I don't know. And elves. And then we get to start in a different location than the other races. So depending on what you made, male or female, or race, elf, dwarf, you're going to start on a different location. You're going to have a different introduction, but the end result might be the same. Overall, you could sacrifice yourself, or become the king, or leave someone else to be the king. That's what I mean. But it's the journey, not the destination, that really helps us change as a person while we're playing, and our character in the game, our avatar. And like I said, Dragon Age Origins did that for a lot of people. So I understand why people love the hero Ferelden the most. And when we go from that type of perspective to a perspective of Dragon Age 2, we feel like we've been insulted. We think we've been insulted. We think that we wasted our money, our time, efforts, because the champion of Kirkwall, completely different setup, different makeup, different just everything. Some things, a lot of stuff was enclosed, dubbed down. You couldn't explore the land of Thedas. You couldn't go to different cities. You're stuck in one city. You go to repetitive dungeons. Repetitive environments. You can't pick what race you want to be. And there wasn't as much of a faction to choose or a way to end the game. It was pretty streamlined or railroaded on no matter what decision you pick. If you wanted to side with the mages or the Templars, it still had the same ending effect, the ending result. So I can understand a lot of people didn't like that. But me, personally, I like Dragon Age 2 because I know it was rushed, and I don't want to give EA an excuse or Bioware an excuse, for a rushed game. Obviously it was rushed. But I actually did like the gameplay. I liked it. It was a little more action-packed, a little more fast-paced compared to Dragon Age Origins. I couldn't stand how slow it was in the first game. It was just too slow, and there was just too many, I don't know. I'm not a big, 4X game or whatever like that. I'm not a big Sid Meier's or RTS person. I don't like that type of strategy. My strategy, I like to be simple, more turn-based, which the game is turn-based, but there's just so many things you can do and so many people you have to click, and you're just doing all these different things. It gets a little overwhelming, especially since the game has a very high difficulty curve, just difficulty, no matter what you're on. I just remember in Dragon Age Origins, no matter what difficulty I was on, it was fucking hell. And I'm a pretty good gamer. Trust me, I'm a pretty good gamer. I do like strategy games. I do like turn-based games too, like Final Fantasy. and Dragon Quest and Suikoden. I like those types of games, but you know what I mean. Dragon Age 2 kind of stemmed away from that. They were just more, it was a little more summarized, or maybe you can argue that it was way too summarized. I get it. Because, like, you know, Origins was like exploding with content and lore, and you're just outside the box doing whatever the heck you want in terms of like where you want to go, what path you want to take. Do you want to go to the werewolves? Do you want to go to the mage's tower? Do you want to go to Denerim? You know, the dwarves. In this game, like I said, you're stuck in one place. But as a story, I liked it because it was a different approach. They had to make the best of the situation. BioWare, it's not entirely BioWare's fault. It's EA. It's EA. EA just obviously Andromeda just fucks everything up. But the condensed story was cool. It was neat to see how a character can rise up in a city, just a single place, and accomplish so many deeds. And dealing with the politics and internal affairs of what a city goes through, and finding your place in the town, rising up. And Dragon Age Origins, it was basically like a Luke Skywalker type story. You know, you have this untold destiny, and you go out and explore the galaxy, and you become the hero of Ferelden or of Star Wars. But at this, it was, like I said, it was more down to earth and more straightforward with. Politics can be boring in games, I get it. But there was enough action, there was enough blood, there was enough sex, violence. You know, it still had the dark fantasy elements in it. Okay, it sounds like I'm just reviewing all the games right now. But hey, this is what your comments bring, so I appreciate that, Tina. And then Dragon Age Inquisition was supposed to be like a hybrid of both, and people didn't like that because they thought the combat was too clunky. It was too slow, blah, blah, blah. I like the combat in Dragon Age Inquisition. I thought it was fine, but you know, what do I know, right? I just do a YouTube video here and there. Not here and there, basically. But, Dragon Age Inquisition became an open world game, which I definitely thought it shouldn't have. I think it should have just been had more of the Dragon Age Origin elements on exploration, and had more of the combat of the second game. A little more here and a little less there type of thing. But I loved Inquisition too. I thought it was great. It was a different approach. It was an open world experience. So it was, it was neat to see all these three games in a different light. Now, that's why people didn't probably appreciate that Hawk came back from Dragon Age 2 to Inquisition, because it was a game that nobody really liked too much, and they thought it was a piss poor excuse of a Dragon Age game. They wanted Hero Ferelden. But that's just how it is, I guess. That's the path they wanted to take. But with me personally, I was happy that I got to see Hawk again, because I actually liked Hawk as a character. It was pretty cool. Like I said, all those internal affairs, earning your estate back and reclaiming what's rightfully yours. That's neat. I like that. It's cool. So I was happy when Hawk came back, and then you were able to customize how he looked in the game. I was like, what? I thought that was badass. I was really, really surprised. So, it's not like, it's not like, Varys is like, hey, I got a friend for you, and it's Phantom Menace DVD. That's the friend, right? No, it wasn't like that. I don't think it should have been like that for you guys, because, it was at least cool to see someone from the previous two games that we experienced a lot of time with. And obviously they did have the hero Ferelden in the third game, but it was only for a quest or like some type of rumor that you were trying to figure out, or some type of you did on the war table. I wanted to see the hero Ferelden too, because it would have been cool to see that, because you just hear about it in the second game, and just like in the third game, you never see that person. But it's just kind of the magic of it. It's the magic. That's the love. The hero Ferelden was so important to the land and to the lore that these games are just kind of the next installments were just establishing how awesome and how much that person made a difference. It's like you hear about it. It's like, oh, the hero Ferelden this. Hero Ferelden was like this. He let this person do that. It's awesome. And then it makes you, if you haven't played the first game, I apologize, and you're playing Inquisition, you hear all this stuff, even the second game, you would want to go back and see how this came to be. So, it's a good excuse to play the first game. So, like I said, Origins does the best to get the dark fantasy elements and the most, gritty type of atmosphere and stuff. It was a pretty, very, very dark game. It's like Game of Thrones-esque. Inquisition was pretty close, and then Dragon Age 2 was more on a brighter level. It definitely wasn't as gritty, but I still appreciated the condensed type of story because, like I said, it was more internal than external. Hero for Elden was fucking external as hell. For the most part, trust me, I don't forget the huge debates that the Dwarf Lords had, and you got to decide who rules Orzammar. Don't worry. But you could say that Origins had all of it in it. You could say that, but this is how it is. Now, if I didn't answer this if I didn't respond to this in any way, shape, or form in a good way, oh well, yeah. But thank you, Tina, for that comment. That was great. Wow, we spent like 10 minutes on that comment. Holy shit. Okay. This is by Eleanor Isalov Wiklund. 2 days ago. Edited. He says, or she says, sorry. No, DA4 will not use the same protagonist as in Inquisition. That's why they even cut the arm/hand off the protagonist and the end of Trespassers so that he or she would have a natural way of fading into the shadows of the story. We will most likely have some interaction with the Inquisition or Inquisitor, though, if the developers take any recognition of what the fan base wants. Actually, they'll probably let us have 1 or 2 playable characters that have been introduced in earlier games, like Sharad Amel, Hawk's long-lost cousin, or the Sutherland boy. With or without his company, my hopes on Krem as playable characters, but we will see in 2 years' time or 3. Okay, so I don't know why people just think that because a person's, I'm not just, singling Eleanor out. I don't know why people think that just because the Inquisitor lost his arm, that's the end of it. That's the end of the story. Why would you think that? Have you seen Star Wars? Have you seen what happened to Luke or Anakin? How many times have they gotten their hands chopped off? I mean, at least once. Well, Darth Vader, like twice, if you consider the hand. Okay, and look how that turned out. Was that the end of their story? Was that just the end? I get it. It's the movie. They were still the main character because that's just how the story was. But they came back stronger and had another arm because that's Star Wars futuristic technology, but a galaxy a long time ago. Long time ago. So what's to say that? Oh, geez, I don't know. We live in this dark fantasy, magical, goddamn world, and it's this thing called magic, or I don't know, blood magic. That, not trying to sound, condescending, wouldn't help him get his arm back in some shape or form. Not even like a prosthetic arm or something. You guys have played those games, right? You do realize that dwarves made magical stone guys come to life. You guys do realize that, right? So why can't they give the Inquisitor a stone magic arm or something like that? You can't just. See, this is the problem. They think that was you guys try to be too meta. Too meta. If you think it happens because of this, because you think EA or BioWare is just trying to end that story, think again. Don't be so meta about that. Natural way of fading into the shadows? Okay, why would he... You saw how Trespasser ended, right? If you go with... he goes with Solace, right, to the Tevinter. Why would his story end? What? You think, Solace is this all-powerful person, right? You couldn't just give him a temporary arm or a limb? And another thing, remember, just because, let's just say hypothetically, that does happen. He's not the main character, supposedly. You don't play him as the main character. He's not the one doing the talking, making the decisions. But he's in your party, though, for whatever reason. He's still a main character. He's not a supporting character. No. That's not a supporting character. Supporting characters are the people outside of the main group, basically, that are kind of establishing a connection with the the main party, the party or the main characters. Think about it. If you play D&D, there's no one main character. All of you that are playing are main characters. You are the protagonists. So why can't the Inquisitor be that? Even though he's not talking or he's not being the one controlled by your hands or thumbs, why would that exclude him from being a protagonist? It doesn't. That's the funny thing. So I wouldn't, if I were you guys, don't count him out because he loses an arm. And that's just one of the ways of doing it. I mean, if they brought back Hawk, why would they not bring back the Inquisitor or Hero Ferelden? I mean, even if the Hero Ferelden killed himself, ultimate sacrifice, what if he came back as a ghost or something because it's fantasy, medieval, magic? It wouldn't matter because he's there. Then you'd all be blown away. You'd be like, what? That's not realistic. Andraste's asked that would happen. So don't just automatically assume that he's just not a playable character because he loses a hand. That's just not good writing if that's going to be the case. Now, I mean, Andromeda had bad writing, so I wouldn't be surprised. But Eleanor says they probably let us have one or two playable characters been introduced in earlier games. Now, he's saying these characters that I barely remember because they're not really main characters at all. They're like expositional characters that add more depth to the protagonist, one of them. But yeah, I believe they would be able to play old party members too. I don't doubt it. Or at least see them in our group or helping us out, like Liliana or Cullen or Cassandra. But like Varys came back. That's one of the characters that came back from the second game. So it's, and Hawk. It's very possible, Don't exclude something like that. You got to think outside the box. If it's possible to make someone have whatever to make the character still the main character, it's possible. It's possible. Nothing is certain. Oh, wait, that was a certain. Okay. So, too smooth one 1 week ago. Well, here we go again. If just real quick, if it's something about the same topic about another comment that I had, we're just gonna kind of skip right through that because that's just kind of a waste of time. Nothing against these guys because they were thinking on the same level, but we don't want to keep backpedaling here. Well, I don't think that you'd be able to play as the Inquisitor because of him or her losing an arm. Once again, Jaime Lannister, people. Jaime fucking Lannister lost his arm, his hand, and he was still a main character. But that was a TV show. Anyway, but it would be nice, but what's the topic? The same protagonist. But it would be nice if your Inquisitor would be able to be in your party. To me, the Grey Warden and Hawk characters also would be nice to play within your party. I also would like to see Talos, Fenris, Sebastian, okay, yep, of course, as part members, Craver, Bethany as well. So basically people from Dragon Age 2, and bring back Sten and Aveline. Also have a 5-member party so you can have more combos and stuff like losing party members because they die or get mad at you for something, but come back at the end of the game to help and say you didn't think I would let you do this all alone. I'm a huge fan of having characters from all previous games be there and make hard on me to choose who to bring with me. I had Iron Bull and Varric all the time just because I felt I had a connection with those two. In Dragon Age 2, I had Isabella and Fenris a lot. Okay, so it's not entirely the same thing, but it starts out with the same message as the comment before. This is like a giant fan service comment that, an orgasmic dream of a fan would want. BioWare has made it possible with Mass Effect Citadel DLC. You were able to have all of your party members back, and you were able to use any one of them through the plot. And that was pretty awesome. That was great. I think I brought Rex with me and Garrus the whole time because those guys are awesome. Just like Iron Bull and Varric. That's great. But the chances of that, because it's so rare to see that in games, it's pretty slim. But I wouldn't count it out. See, I'm trying not to be too meta about it because I don't want to exclude things. Because I want to be surprised when this stuff happens. I don't want to just sit here in my own create my own demon and just think that that's how it's going to go. You guys need to not just jump to conclusions when we just have rumors or speculation. Don't speculate stuff too hard. Unless you have a trailer or some concrete evidence from the developers, that's where you're going to have to go with. Or other than that, it's just all very, very, very speculated and opinion-based. There's nothing really factual besides, oh, he lost his arm. But that doesn't explain the end result of his story, of the Inquisitor's story. Same thing with everybody else. Okay. Thank you. And then this is from... Oh, this is perfect. Oops, I was about to reply. This is from Evadon 1 week ago. I guess we can get a magical arm. Would be cool. My main Inquisitor wouldn't have stopped fighting and trying even without his arm. There you go. Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about. It's possible. It's magic. Magic has so many different spiritual and majestic things to it. Even the Fade is its own thing. So there you go, guys. It's possible. You guys just don't want the Inquisitor to come back. Come on, guys. I know you guys are just... Stop. You just need to stop being so heart-heavy for Dragon Age Origins. You really need to stop. And just get out of that mindset. It hasn't happened for almost 10 years of getting a story like Origins that you guys wanted. Inquisition was the closest, and you guys didn't even like... Most of you didn't even like that. So, I just see like 2 video... Wait, what the heck? Okay, anyway. So thank you, Evadon, for being a rational person when it comes to that stuff. It's realistic. But at the same time, unrealistic because it's magic. But anyway... Eveline Jolly 1 week ago says they should bring back all old and new main heroes and let you play them the main in some way, but put them in a little part so they won't outdo our new hero. That's good. I like that. That's a very, very true, or not a very true, a very good recommendation. That's what Dragon Age Inquisition did. It brought back Liliana from the first game, brought back Commander Colin. And Cassandra, even though you don't play her in the second game, but she was still part of the council. And they were used as really good supporting characters for the main party. They were there giving you some advice, some philosophy, some ideas, kind of help you come to a deductive, help establish deductive reasoning, and come to a conclusion. So that was good. That's a good thing to say. Because that's just too much. You can't overshadow the main party. Or the new hero, but like I said, the whole party are the heroes, or reoccurring heroes, or you get one new hero. So, gotta be careful when it comes to that. But you guys have to decide for yourself what makes a protagonist a protagonist. Is there only just one protagonist in a book, or is it the people with the protagonist that are also the main characters? I would consider Frodo, Sam, Aragorn, Legolas, Gandalf, all main characters. I don't consider them supporting characters. I really don't. Or Gimli, not at all. So, this from Custodus of Terra 2 weeks ago. For the love of God, we want the Grey Warden. We made that vehemently evident. Why won't they understand that? Because, for one, if you pull a Star Wars Rogue One and go completely fan service mode, you're gonna get something that you want, but it's not gonna be as good as the original, as an end result. It just doesn't, because people see right through that, and they don't want a game that's only catered to fans. You have to find a balance and understand that in order to develop more as a company and as a team, you have to try new things that make you get out of your comfort zone. If we were just going to have the same Grey Warden all 3 games, which was fine in Mass Effect with Commander Shepard, I get that was fine, but that was a more linear approach to a storyline. This is more... Dragon Age Origins was definitely not as linear as Mass Effect. Or was it? Well, at least Dragon Age Inquisition wasn't. Yes, everybody loves the hero Ferelden, or they want the Grey Warden. We get that. That just shows how much that game did so well and how they were so connected to a lot of people. But don't just exclude everybody else, because the other main heroes are also a part of that group and what made the Great Warden great. The Great Warden. So, like I said, you'll see right through fan service like crazy. It's just, you gotta find the best of both worlds. You gotta balance it out. It's all balanced. And it's hard. It's hard to keep the scales balanced, especially because I'm a Libra, so I know about the balancing, right? You have to look at it from an objective standpoint and not a biased. So, Aida S. I can imagine that the Inquisitor will take place of an advisor for our new heroes, maybe even not the Inquisitor itself, but he, she, X team. That's just what someone else was talking about before with the, having support characters or advisors, or maybe just have them as a secondary main character. That's fine. That's fine. But I don't think the Inquisitor will take place as an advisor because his name's the Inquisitor. And this mission that has been bestowed upon him is something that he would not be an advisor for. That's just... just saying that you can imagine, it doesn't really provide any evidence that it's going to happen. Probably not even close. It's just like a thought, just a little thought. But it's not. I don't think it's probably the least realistic approach to it. Because, like I said, Solus has chosen the Inquisitor to assist him in whatever he's wanting him to do. So, him as a side character or supporting character, it's very unlikely. Very unlikely. Nothing is certain. Okay, David King's 2 weeks ago. We need a new protagonist. The Inquisitor already did his job. The Inquisitor needs to return, but definitely not as the main protagonist. Also, gameplay-wise, it would restrict us in a great way, especially in the romance and abilities section. The ending and Trespasser pretty much imply that there will be a new protagonist, which will be a new perspective, and I'm sure he will have a struggle of his own. Also, many Solus-mancers seem to forget that not everybody romance Solus. I guess there's just like people just being definite about what Solus, if you romanced him or something. I don't know. I don't go on the forums and look up this stuff. I just go by what I've played and what I've learned and from what I've seen. And also what you guys have to say. So, yes, it could very much indeed imply that there will be a new protagonist. I don't know how many times I'm going to repeat it. Yes, most likely there will be a new protagonist because that is just the way that BioWare does things when it comes to Dragon Age. There's always a new hero. Unless it's Mass Effect, the original trilogy, it was always the same person, but obviously that already was not a thing after Dragon Age 2 came out. I'm pretty sure Andromeda 2 might have the writers, might not. I have no freaking clue. See, that's why I don't want to speculate too much. But this is another person that's just saying for sure that it's implied that there will be a new protagonist. But it doesn't mean the Inquisitor is out, done. It's just, that's it. That's it, right? That's it. Doesn't need to come back, whatever. Commander Shepard did the suicide mission, and they're like, okay, bring him in the third game. His job's done, right? Oh, wait, no, it's not. The threat's still real. They could easily start doing that pattern where it has the Inquisitor from the 3rd through 5th game, because his story is definitely not done. He has not received his full closure. Actually, you can consider Inquisition as a prelude to what 5 is going to turn into, a prelude to the 5th game, by how it ends. Okay, next one. Cassie White, 2 weeks ago. It's clearly obvious that the next game is going to get a new main character from the Deventer, such a hard name to spell, Imperium. Otherwise, it won't be counted as Dragon Age game, aside from Awakening. But I'm pretty sure that the last 3 main characters will get mentioned in the next installment. True. I also agree that the Inquisitor would be just as important as a new hero. True. I do like the thought of going to different parts of Thedas and exploring the regions. One thing that I want to be added to the game is a brothel or two every now and then, like the Black Pearl in Origins. True. But there was a brothel in Dragon Age 2. It's the Blooming Rose, or something like that. Yeah. It would be interesting to have a fling every now and then. That's what makes RPGs so interesting to me. So it just kind of states the same thing, just little different things. You have to want to explore and find new things. We always want try to go to every nook and cranny into a universe we love. That's why I like Star Wars so much, because there's just so much you can explore. But yeah, there is also a whorehouse, not a whorehouse, a brothel, it's the same thing, in Dragon Age 2 called the Blooming Rose, so let's not discredit that. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so next one is Don Arlem, 3 weeks ago. Wait, is that Sims Medieval soundtrack playing in the background? 10 out of 10 subscribed. Thanks, Don Arlem. I actually typed in Dragon Age tavern music, and that's what it came up with. So if either that person got it wrong or you got it wrong with the sound, I don't know. You'd have to look it up and see. But yeah, I looked up Dragon Age tavern music on YouTube. Oh, spoilers. But thank you. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much. This is by Gerard Rocket, 3 weeks ago. My favorite character was a wizard. He would conjure up a new arm. Okay, well, that's with the magical arm thing that I was saying. Okay, next person. Wedge Antilles. Thank you, Star Wars. The last time we heard about the hero Ferelden, she was on a quest to cure the calling, and Hawk was on his or her way to Weisup. Okay. So there might be, there might be a Bermuda Triangle of heroes going on here. They might all meet up in the middle. It's very possible. That'd be so cool. That'd be so great. The Witcher Grizzly, 4 weeks ago. The end suggests we'll be in Tevinter. I wonder if we'll see Bull and Krem. I love her as a romance option. Well, if you play Trespasser, Iron Bull betrays you, at least for me, and I had to kill him. So, yikes. Maybe he doesn't kill you if you romance him, but didn't happen with me. But yes, very true. It does suggest we'll be in Tevinter. This is by Anna Thingbo, 1 month ago. Wow, it's really getting far back in time, aren't we? I'll do a few more. After playing the Inquisition, I really was hoping for the Inquisitor to be the main protagonist in DA4 because of the whole Solus level and relationship that I fell in love with, but I sort of come to accept that won't happen. Okay. The way I see it, the Inquisitor doesn't have that much unfinished business unless you romance Solus or Dorian, I suppose. It's the Inquisition itself with unfinished business. It's true, but he is the Inquisitor. So he's kind of the leader of it. So if the Inquisition has unfinished... Okay, I'm just going to read the whole thing first, sorry. And remember in Trespasser, if the Inquisitor chooses to not disband the Inquisition, she proclaims that their own adventuring days may be over, but the Inquisition and its mission will continue. To me, that sounds like he or she will not be the protagonist. I even doubt she will turn up in the flesh in D4 because of this, although I would be thrilled if that was the case, but it doesn't seem very likely to me. Also, didn't someone from DA Team, I think it was David Garter himself, revealed that it would be unlikely for the Inquisitor to return on Twitter? Can someone look that up? I'm too lazy. Okay. So if the evidence is there from a developer, which, sometimes developers do like to throw people off with their comments and stuff, because that just causes more of an uproar, and they kind of like to watch the world burn a little bit. And it's like, oh my god, you do play as him, or something. Yeah, I'm reading the comment real quick. Okay, so yeah, depending on what you do, you could leave or stay with the Inquisition, but, if your name's still the Inquisitor, especially if it's in the next game, if your name's still the Inquisitor, you're still part of the Inquisition. Now, when you leave, does he quit? You don't know what was going through the mind of the person in post-event. We'll definitely have an idea of what the Inquisitor is thinking in Dragon Age 5, depending on how they make him or her come back. But we won't know until it happens. So, take that. Whoever. This is by Catherine Black, 1 month ago. I am one of the ones who liked Solus a lot. I did 2 playthroughs. One where we were best buds, and the other his love interest. I demand some kind of closure with his character because what a dick move to walk away with my arm and my loot. I played every BioWare RPG there is, and Solus has been the most enjoyable complex to get to know. As much as I would love to continue with my Inquisitor in the next game, one of the things I enjoy most about Dragon Age is that each protagonist allowed you to learn a new region of Thetis. It seemed pretty obvious Tevinter is next, and I would enjoy having an origin character working alongside the Inquisitor. So, this is a lot of these comments that you guys are leaving are very emotional stuff. Very emotional. You're only wanting this to happen because of this emotional connection that you establish with somebody. That you're sad that this person left. You keep playing the game over because you want to be with this person over and over and over again. I get that, but that never usually justifies an end result of a product or of a solution or of an idea. If you're just putting emotion in all your things you're attached to, because that's what attachment is, it is based on emotions, that's obvious. But when you're thinking outside of that perspective, you're thinking rationally and with facts, and you're putting yourself in a position to where it's like, well, what if I wasn't attached to these people? What if I just saw it as you know, outside of it, outside of the area or the scenario? Then you start to understand them, like, oh, maybe it's not going to go like that. You see what I mean? You start thinking on a grander scale. If you're being too attached to one character and you think that's the way it goes for a story, that's not how it goes entirely. Some games do that though, like they did for Halo with Cortana and Master Chief. But that was just more of an internal struggle with Chief, but obviously it eventually turns into him coming to find Cortana. But the overall approach was saving the galaxy from Halos 1 through 3. And then 4 and 5 was him trying to, come to terms with himself and with humanity, and also coming to terms with Cortana. Because that was a big establishment too, and an attachment that he had. But it also drove him on this quest of kind of abandoning his post per se and only wanting to do what he wanted to do. That's how attached he was, and that was too much of an emotional attachment to him. Because that's basically the only thing he ever cared about in the end. So you don't want to go down that type of suffering, that shadow that it looms over you. Because then you're definitely not going to think clearly and think clearly when it comes to these types of decisions we make on game development, our philosophy on how people make games by what they've done originally in the previous games. If there's a pattern you see, then it might be that, but sometimes they throw a curveball on the way, so you never know entirely. But yeah, if you can get yourself not attached to these people, but I get that was the point, is to become really connected with these people and really care about them. But like I said, if you can detach yourself, not saying you're going to do it forever, you're obviously going to still care about these people. But when you think on an objective standpoint or in someone else's shoes and show some empathy, then it's fine. Then you kind of see a different approach to it. Okay, a couple more. Andrei Cernikin. The only reason this is 1 month ago. The only reason they should make a game with an ex-protagonist is to bring back the Warden. What's the big deal anyway? You have a character creator, geez. And if that sounds too challenging, then make a DLC in Dragon Age 4 about the Warden. Then you can continue with him in Dragon Age 5. The bonding would be there. I don't know about you guys, but I have no real connection with the Inquisition character no matter how hard I try. Heck, I have more connection with the D8-2 character, but nothing like I had with the Warden. And this is what I was talking about before. Oh, excuse me, with the dark fantasy elements. One of the main reasons why we became so attached to him, because the character didn't really have a voice, right? He didn't talk. You were just able to click words from a line of dialogue. That's why we became so connected. It's just like that in old RPGs, like Knights of the Old Republic was the same thing. When we put our voice into a character and not have it fed to us, then we really, really become a part of this avatar when we put our own voice. Just kind of like how Link is. Never talks, but somehow we were just so connected with him because of his deeds and his accomplishments. But that's, like I said, that's how you become really, really attached to something. And it's the same thing when you're reading a book. You're imagining how this character is thinking, or what they would say, or what they would pick, because you're speaking for them. Even more so than in Dragon Age 2 and 3. because there's no voice involved. You're voicing him or her. That's how you're doing it. That's the pickle of it. There's more of a space for the player to interact with the main character, the Grey Warden, because of that voiceless feature to it. And that's also what makes great storytelling. That's why a lot of people like Knights of the Republic, Baldur's Gate, all the games that have your main character not speak. It's a good way for you to become connected with the hero or the main character, one of them. So think of it like that. Okay, this is by King Kobe 60. No, dude, Trespasser DLC for Dragon Age was the end of the Inquisitor. BioWare announced the protagonist for every Dragon Age future games. The end of the Inquisitor. Well, what would we call him then, right? A protagonist for every Dragon Age game. Like I said, main protagonist could be multiple protagonists. Basically, anyone who's a part of your main party, they're all main characters. This last one. Mia W. 1 month ago. I suppose we'll have a metal arm? Shit, that would be cool. What the fuck, BioWare? Yes, do that, please. Thank you. Okay, guys, so that was it for reading your comments of the Dragon Age 4, the same protagonist video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I always love responding to your guys' response to what I have to say and what the news brings you and what the developers bring you. I definitely would like to know how you guys took this video. Please leave it in the comments below. And it's always fun doing this type of stuff. And we hope to do I hope to do it again with you guys. So enjoy that drum solo you heard in the beginning. Oh, and I did shave my face. I hope you noticed that. And it's not Christmas anymore. Bye.